Coming up. Lord. So thank you, Big Love Band. They're going to, as they're moving down. So, thank you. Give that to me for a little bit, see what mischief I can make. So, I think I need a little humor myself. So I wasn't going to tell the joke today because we have very important things to do, but this one I think is appropriate and perfect. So it's all about the new minister. So the young woman had just graduated from Bible college and was called to minister to a church very close to her home. So she went, but it was very awkward. She just didn't feel really comfortable. So she decided to call a mentor, a senior minister, and say, you know, what can I do to be more comfortable? And the minister said, well, what I do is just put a few drops of vodka when you're in your office before the service, put a few drops of vodka in some water, and then that should relax you a little bit. So sure enough, that's what she did, and she was very comfortable and very excited. But after the service, her mentor came up to her and just said, I just have a few little pieces of advice. Next time, sip rather than gulp. There are 10 commandments, not 12. There are 12 disciples, not 10. We do not refer to the cross as the big T. The recommended grace before meals is not rub-a-dub-dub, thanks for the grub, God. We do not refer to our Savior Jesus and his disciples as JC and the boys. And David slew Goliath. He did not kick the crap out of him. And last but not least, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost are never referred to as Daddy Jr. and the Spook. I don't know. So, do you love your new bulletin? Now, this is new. It's our first pass. We're going to make a new one every month with the June's activities. If you, we might change it and tweak it as we move, trying to find the most perfect bulletin. The same is true. If you turn it over, you'll see on the back is our purpose statement. Now, we know we've been needing one, especially people who stream or watch the service afterwards, or new first-time visitors who are here don't always know kind of why we come together. So the purpose statement, the reason to have one, is it gives us a reason to come together. So we're going to try this one on for the month of May and see how it resonates and fits. And we can also tweak it. We'll consider it at this moment a correctable result. We might also love it and just keep it, because I think it speaks completely to who we are and why we're here. So I would love us to read it all together. You don't have to stand or anything, but it's on the back of your program. It's also up. So let's read it together today. Our purpose is to inspire, educate, and empower each individual to experience themselves as a unique and individualized expression of God, the love intelligence that governs the universe. We are committed to not merely a theoretical understanding of our oneness and unity with God, but to consciously practice this truth in our everyday lives. Through celebration, service, study, giving, and fellowship, we are committed to the transformation of our personal lives and to being a powerful and beneficial presence on the planet. With the energy of unconditional, simply, we are here for God. Woohoo! Beautiful, thank you. So our theme has changed. CSL Global issues themes every month. And we follow those themes for the most part, not always, but for the most part we do. And the theme this month is Raise Your Voice. And by the way, I was in my office before the service, and it was so much conversation. It's like, wow, these people are raising their voices. So a little bit from the summary here, it says this month we will explore the profound impact of self-advocacy, boundary setting, and conflict resolution on our personal and collective well-being. So today's topic is confidence unleashed. So the Spirit within us, God itself, and the presence of God within us, or Spirit in us, is flamboyant, is excited, is expressive, is confident, has something very important to say. So, unfortunately, I kind of think of it a little bit like there's something hiding inside of us that is waiting for us to let it, to allow it to express itself. Because for the most part, like how many of you could imagine yourself up here talking to a group of people? Or no, how many of you could never imagine that? Like you would just come up here and speak, right? Or walk into somebody's office and share with them your thoughts or what you think. That in general, people are pretty shy. In general, people are pretty not outspoken. They're pretty quiet. So confidence means, where's my definition of confidence? But confidence means feeling settled, trusting, feeling comfortable in your own skin, feeling like you belong here. Now, advocacy, and I love the word, they use the word to advocate for ourselves, means to advocate means to trust, to represent something properly, fully, powerfully. So we're really talking about how do we advocate for ourselves, and how do you unleash this confidence so that you walk in the world not waiting to be seen, but almost demanding to be seen, right? That you walk in the world from the perspective of your spirit, with something to say, with something to share, with something to give. I read an article this week that was published by the Wellbeing Institute out of Oxford they called it the Happiness Article. And it was an article which measures the level of happiness all around the world. Are people happy? It tries to answer the question, are you happy? The United States ranked 24th on the countries of happiness. Finland was number 1. But this article also said that if you took all of the human beings under 30 and made them their own country, they would be 65th on the level of happiness. Now, I actually find these numbers rather surprising, and maybe not so surprising, but certainly unacceptable. Because the spirit within us is not only bodacious and enthusiastic and flamboyant, but it's also happy. Happy not depending on outer circumstances, happy not depending on the world doing what we want it to do, happy not because you won the lottery today, happy not because, but just the nature of it is happy. Now, when people are disconnected from spirit, or this little hidden gem inside of them, the world is less happy. The world is way more violent, way more selfish, way more greedy, way more lonely, way more disconnected. So I think that there's something wonderful in this conversation this month about advocating for that spirit within us, advocating for that. Not necessarily for the human being we've become through conditioning and training and domestication, but really from where we've been and who we are in truth. So let us do a little affirmation for the talk today, together. Today, I confidently speak my truth and advocate for myself with power, poise, and confidence. Now, you might find that this is applicable in life when you notice that you have some dissatisfaction with something and you're reluctant to express that to whoever it needs to be expressed to, or you might have a dream or a vision or a longing which you're reticent to address because you feel foolish or self-conscious, or it may show up in tolerating situations that should not be tolerated by you, right? Or in allowing situations to exist that need to be changed. But we want to step into really this beautiful quote by Emerson, which he says, "Oh man, there is no planet, sun, or star could hold you, but you knew what you are." I notice it doesn't use the word who you are. He uses the word what you are. And you are a unique, individualized expression of perfection. You are a unique, individualized expression of this thing that we call God, or this thing that we call life, or this thing that we call spirit, or this thing that we call the Atman presence, or this thing we call the quantum field of unlimited possibilities that we arise from. That is our true parentage. That's our true source. We arise from this pool, this cauldron of perfection. We pop out. And then all of a sudden we are not seen particularly that way. We're seen with less than perfection. We're seen as that, I like that he doesn't use the word you, because we might use that you or the I am this, you are that. He's really talking about what you are, underneath the who you are. Because the who you are is somebody we've invented. I invented this persona in order to deal with effectively the conditions of my life, the conditions of my childhood, the conditions of of all of it. Depending on what those conditions are, all of a sudden now you have a personality, you have an identity that has more than likely nothing to do with who you really are or what you really are. You are really the embodiment of the divine. It's a big thing to accept. Do you understand? It's such a big thing to accept because there are 8 billion people on the planet. And when you look out there, right before Wheel of Fortune, there's a news show. And the last thing they do on that news show for the last 5 minutes is tell a feel-good story, tell a hero's story, tell a survivor's story, right? They do something which begins to point to the beauty in life, the cooperative experience of living together. Because 8 billion people, it's hard to grasp that. But when you look out, I don't even know, could you really imagine if at least a majority, or even 51%, even 40% of all the people were in touch with their perfection and their wholeness, their magnificence, their right to be alive, knowing that whatever it is they decide to do is divine and therefore is good, what this world would look like. I bet we can catch Finland next year if we were to do that. But we have to start with small steps. So I thought we should take another little look at a little more closer look at you. So I love this. Today, you are you. Today, you are you. That is truer than true. There is no one alive who is more youer than you. Don't you love that? Yeah, so you are you. And sometimes we lose that connection. We lose the sense of I am me. You are you, and it is good that I am me and you are you. Self-esteem is a person's overall experience of worthiness. Self-esteem is a person's who has a sense of their own value, their own right to be here. So when we talk about a person's high self-esteem, we're talking about how they feel about themselves in relationship to the world. If we talk about a person with low self-esteem, we're talking about a person, how they are in their relationship with the world. Now, healthy self-esteem adds to happiness. It adds to your experience of contribution. It adds to your ability to raise your voice and speak your voice. Now, as children, our parents are God to us. So whatever it was they say or said, we pretty much believed because there was no other voice we were listening to. And when you're young, when you're little, we hear whatever it is. I mean, fortunately, most of our parents said positive, affirming, self-esteem raising things, but not always. And even if they said something in jest or something not too seriously, as little people, we take that pretty seriously. So just anything as simple as, oh, sweetie, you can't dance, gets translated into, I'm not a good dancer. So somehow I love the science of mind because it teaches us not what to think, but how to think. It teaches us that we can be conscious thinkers, that we're not just this monkey mind, everything's regurgitating, but that we actually can stop, pause, question what we know, question how we know it, and then choose to keep it or throw it. To keep it or to think something different. Most of us are quiet because most of us don't feel that we're as good as others, or that we're not as smart as others, or we don't have the right as others. Most of us, a lot of people have kind of a big deal with authority figures. So we don't raise our voice, right? We stay quiet. That we don't challenge. We don't risk being thought ill of. We don't risk being embarrassed. We don't risk being rejected very well. But the problem with that is that if we don't, you lose your authenticity. You lose your authentic voice. And you know what that is because you live with yourself. But to have that authentic voice and to not speak it is thwarts the flamboyancy and the bodaciousness of your spirit. Now, how can we deal with people? You know, because the world is full of others, and for the most part, everybody's in their own reality. Nobody's in your reality but you. Do you get that? Like you're over here thinking what you think, being what you be, knowing what you know, believing what you believe, and it's very unique. Nobody else exactly thinks that way or believes that. Everybody's in their own reality, really. Now, there is something wonderful about spiritual connection because you and I can transcend the reality of our humanness. I can look past your story, you can look past my story, and we all have one, and we can connect together with something way deeper, way more real, way more true. If I say to you, love is a truth between our souls, that is a true statement, whether I know you or don't know you. And we can meet each other and the world from that perspective. But now that's not always what happens because sometimes people, they're critical or they're judgmental. So I love this quote by Zig Ziglar because he says, don't be distracted by criticism. The only taste of success some people have is when they take a bite out of you. So low self-esteem will tend to project low self-esteem on you and find fault, find what's wrong, go for the mistake, rather than go for the good, go for what lifts you, go for the generosity of spirit. Dr. Barbara Waterhouse, who was up in Asheville, North Carolina, she's passed now, but she would say, if the universe gives you an opportunity to be generous, take it. Lean on the side of generosity. So if somebody's critical of you, you don't have to let it ruin your day, right? You don't have to do anything, really. You could just let it go. I like this because somebody last week in the small group on Wednesday said, I don't know this person. I don't know why. They just got in a relationship with me just to take a bite out of me. And I thought that was very funny. But I'm sure we've all had that experience, right? Where somebody just kind of kicks dirt in your face and you don't know why, right? But I love this one too. In fact, this is kind of I don't know. I like this a lot. Once you have been avoided by someone, never disturb them again. How many of you are chasing people who don't want to talk to you, right? How many of you are ruining the day that something happened and your best friend left and called you a name and has never been back since, right? Or how many of us, I'm going to tell you, it's so pervasive in our world. You could have, I don't know how many people are here, 50 maybe. You have 50 people, and you can have 49 who think your joke was really funny, and the 50th one just thinks it was the stupidest thing and we're insulted. And all my attention could go on that one person. Forget the rest, all to that one thing. So this played out for me in ministry. My first ever senior minister position was in North Carolina, and I met with the Unity minister in town, and I said, what is your advice? Do you have advice for me? And he said, yes, don't chase anyone. That was his advice. And over the 20 years of ministry, it's been very important advice, because people in a community like this will come and go. And sometimes they go because they don't like me, but mostly they just come and go because that's the coming and going of their spirit, right? They stop by, get what they need to get, go someplace else. Or who knows? But how much energy can we spend chasing people? So in this unleashing confidence, and by the way, when we talk about this, I'm always talking about unleashing confidence with love. Sharing your truth with people with love. Being your authentic self with love. So being your authentic self does not mean kicking dirt in somebody's face. It doesn't mean you win and everyone else loses. Because that's off principle for us. It's not lawful. It's not spiritually sound. So we're always talking about, if you're part of the happiness survey and you can see why we might rank 24th in happiness, you might see where, for you, through self-reflection and contemplation, where you may not be living your flamboyant, bodacious, authentic self with power, poise, and confidence. You may be looking, another pervasive way this shows up is saying yes when you mean no and saying no when you mean yes, right? Committing to things you don't care about or not committing to things you do care about. So it's a very good goal to hold, that we want to study together and practice together and learn together to know who we are, what our values are, what we stand for, what we want, how we want to live our lives, and then commit to doing that in an authentically loving, confidence unleashed kind of way. And we do that because you will be happy if you do that. Your happiness level will rise no matter how happy or unhappy you are in the moment. So in Science of Mind, they offered us 3 very Science of Mind principles and ideas to help us to be more present in life, to show up in life. Now listen, don't you love, have you ever met people who exude aliveness, exude aliveness. You're in their presence and you can feel their energy. You can feel their love. You hear their voice. We love people like that. But we hold it as that person's unique. There's something special over there. I promise you, there's nothing special over there. There's just a person who doesn't care what you think, who values themselves, who values their thoughts, who values their opinions, and wants to share them. Partly why we don't do that, all of us, is because we were raised that it was conceited, or who does he think he is, or something crazy, maybe even crazy. Sometimes maybe even that person is crazy. But the first principle is that life is a mirror and will reflect back to the thinker what he thinks into it. So we cannot escape the truth that whatever we send out, we get back. Whatever we think into this responsive universe is reflected back to us. So it puts the responsibility for our happiness, our peace, our power, right where it belongs, which is not with me, which is not with your mother, which is not with, it's nobody's responsibility, right? It's right here. And what we have the power to do, not because we're so smart. I like to say we're not great because our ego is great. We are great because God is great. And if you are an individualized expression of God, then you are great by virtue of that and that alone. So there is no glorifying life. There's no glorifying beauty when we play small, or when we are invisible, or when we disappear. So life is a mirror. So if you don't like what's looking, if life is a mirror and you don't like what you're looking at, change. Change what you think. Change what you say. Change whatever. Change something. Right? If you don't change something, then nothing. It'll just be the same next year. So the second one, obviously we've been talking about this the whole time, that the power of God is within you. This is not news. Jesus said that kingdom of heaven is within you. The power of God is within you. That I think it's fantastical that we were given the gift of magic, really. That we have this tool that is the tool that makes things come to be. That nothing exists without somebody thinking. There's this chair didn't get here by itself. You didn't get here by yourself. Your situation didn't get there by itself. That everything that we touch, see, taste, feel, hear with our physical senses has been created, and we have those senses in order to experience. That's what being human is, that we create and then we experience what we created. But there are, we have other capacities which are not of the body for experiencing what's already been created. We have other capacities which allow us to create: imagination, creativity, free will, visioning, dreaming, longing, desiring. These are invisible things, invisible qualities that we cultivate, which actually then begins to create a world. So this already created world is the mirror. So this is what we've created. And when I say us, I mean 8 billion. Or we could even use a church community, that who we are today is what we've created up until today. And we're standing here going, well, this is great. This is so great. What do we want to create tomorrow? So we're moving into lots of visioning, lots of creative conversations to see who the Center for Spiritual Living in Cape Coral might want to be a year from now, or 10 years from now, or 100 years from now. but that's a microcosm of the macrocosm. So smaller idea of a larger picture, because I'm interested in the Center for Spiritual Living Cape Coral, and I'm also interested in the world. So the Buddha said, we are what we think. Whoops. We are what we think. All that we are arises with our thoughts. With our thoughts, we make the world. All three of these ideas are exactly the same idea. So, in this quote with Howard Thurman, he says, don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and go do it. Because what the world needs is more people who have come alive. Dr. Michael Beckwith used to call it, I think when I first heard him do this, I was mildly offended, but I came to realize that he was talking about states of consciousness. He would say that the world is sleepwalking, unaware of their divinity, unaware of the possibility, unaware of the beauty and the glory and just the possibility of unfettered happiness, unfettered contentment, unfettered self-esteem, where we actually live in life joyfully and not like this. Have you ever been on a bus? It's like everybody's like this, like where radical wakefulness, to wake from sleep, is to come alive, to be filled with the Spirit. Now, some people would say, well, yeah, but you can't do that all the time. Can I ever just sit on the couch? Sure. Of course you can. You can do anything. You can do anything you want. This is a two-folded piece of paper. One side of the paper is your authenticity, your aliveness, your feeling happy, your physical health, emotional health, spiritual health, mental health, and all of that about increasing that for you. Because out of that can come everything you really want. And the other piece of paper is about the more of us that do that, the better and more alive this experience we call living is, for not only for us, but for our children, our grandchildren, and their children for many years. We're alive for 70 to 100 years or something like that, and this world is billions of years old. So we're just here for, like if this were like a little tiny mustard seed, that's how long we're here. And it should feel better than it feels for most people. So let's do one more time. Let's do this. And so now embracing that, what is that cartoon or something that has like a little eyes inside of something? I keep having this vision, but like the spirit's inside of us peeking out. We want to, let it out. We want to say, come on out. So let's say that today. Today, I confidently speak my truth and advocate for myself with power, poise, and confidence. Yes, today you are you. That is truer than true. There is no one alive who is more you than you. And there's no one alive who's more than you and more wonderful than the you that you are. You are amazing beings. Thank you for being that. So let us anchor this in prayer. I would just invite you to call up any idea of where you might be not being yourself with power, poise, and confidence, any relationship that needs your presence more fully, authentically, your voice, your workplace, anywhere where you feel less than, where your self-esteem could use a boost. I want you to release anything anyone has ever said to you that would make you think you're less than beautiful. Because they're just full of crap. They have no idea who you are, right? That because you are, and I am, the very presence of the divine, right here and right now, always have been, always will be, and always, then, now, and always. And so take all that and close your eyes, if you're comfortable. And feel for a moment the blood coursing through your veins, life coursing through your body. You are alive. And this life, we didn't put it there. I mean, this life is living us, it's breathing us, it's beating our hearts. It's your source of fulfillment. It's your source. God is your source. This power, this presence, this infinite something that is to us like water is to the fish. We live, we move, and we have our being in perfection. And this perfection that we call God lives and moves and has its beingness in and through our individual lives. And so I know that this is true for each and every one of us, that there is no spot where God is not, that it is the center and the circumference, the alpha and the omega. It's all that there is. There's nothing not it. And any not it is purely an illusion. It's an idea of separation. And so in this wholeness, in this togetherness, in this deep connection between my soul and your soul, between your soul and everyone else's souls, that we are one. And it's from that place of connection, that place of oneness and community, that I just speak this word for and about you, for and about this community, simply knowing that the world is waiting for our bodaciousness. The world is waiting for our enthusiasm, for our flamboyant nature. Whatever that looks like for each and every one of us, it will be different because we are unique and individualized expressions. Some of us are loud, some of us are quiet, some of us are excited, some of us are serene, some of us love to dance, some of us love to read, but all of it is part of a tapestry of divinity that is incomplete without us. And so what I claim and proclaim for each person is we say yes to ourselves first. We say yes to our happiness, yes to our fulfillment. We say no when we need to say no. We find our sacred yes and our sacred no. And we move into life knowing that our doing that is is created an advocacy, not just for ourselves, but for other people as well. We need to speak our voice. We need to raise our voices. And so I'm grateful. I'm grateful to know that there is a way out of mediocrity. There is a way out of following the crowd. There is a way out of doing what's always been done. There is a way out of the repetitive nature of life, the hamster wheel we live on. And the way out is to turn within to the power and the presence within us. And so I simply just release this word knowing that it's a conscious seed planting into the actions of the divine, the law of life, knowing that something has shifted today. Something has shifted in consciousness today for us as individuals and us as a community. And we just simply allow it. We let it. We make room for it. We welcome it. And so for our generosity of spirit, our kind and loving words and actions, for everything that makes it worthwhile, we do give thanks. And we let this be together by saying, and so it is, amen.